Hey Morganton, Public Information Officer Ethan Smith here, and we're back with another edition of our City Council recap. But this is a special edition because we have two meetings to go over. First, we'll go over our City Council workshop. It was held on February 22nd at the Morganton Community House. The day started with a financial update from Finance Director Jessie Paris. She discussed the overall financial health of the city, our revenues, our expenditures, and what's on the horizon for the upcoming budget year. After her presentation, we moved into a parking study update from Gannett Fleming. They discussed how on the days that they studied, we were using approximately 36 to 40% of our total downtown parking. So we took this information, we looked at it, and then they discussed some obstacles that we'll have to tackle coming up as our downtown area grows. Following the parking study update, we heard from Water Resources Director Brad Boris for a master metering update. Now, master metering is where you use one meter to read a whole bunch of meters used by various tenants in places like an apartment complex or any complex building where it's not a single tenant, single meter situation. Following Brad Boris's presentation, we heard from department heads about capital improvement projects that they would like to budget for in the upcoming budget year. Their requests totaled approximately $21 million, and we know that's a lot, but the reason they presented all of their requests is so our city council can get the big picture of what needs to happen in all of our departments over the course of the next several years. So what they'll do is they'll take their requests, whittle them down to something more reasonable, and then we'll budget for them when we go through the next year's fiscal budget cycle and approve that in June. Following these presentations by department heads, the department heads and the council members all went on a CIP field trip to view the effects and the locations of the CIP projects that were requested in the budget. And after that field trip, the workshop adjourned for the day. Now, let's move on to last night's council meeting, our March 2nd regular city council meeting. The night kicked off with the introduction of the city's new zoning technician and code enforcement officer, Michael Kirby. Kirby comes to us from Claremont, where he worked as a police officer. Welcome to the team, Kirby. Public Works Director Scott Luckadoo then provided a very important update on the city's recycling convenience center. In short, the city is no longer going to accept cardboard recyclables at our convenience center. This is because the cardboard containers have consistently been misused, with cardboard thrown haphazardly around the bins and regular trash mixed in with the cardboard recyclables, and it's causing all of those bins that have been contaminated to just be thrown away as regular trash, defeating the purpose of it being a recycling container. There are still 4 convenience sites where cardboard can be recycled throughout Burke County. That slide is on the screen now with the addresses of those 4 convenience centers. These are paid for and manned with taxpayer funds, so please go take your recyclables to these centers. It's important to note the convenience center is not closing. We are still going to continue accepting other recyclable materials. We're just discontinuing our acceptance of cardboard materials. Those bins that are currently out there that accept cardboard are going to be removed in the coming days. After this, we got to hear from Burke County Travel and Tourism Director Ed Phillips. He provided an update on the state of tourism in our area and showed us some really cool marketing materials that they've been using outside of Burke County to attract people to come to our area. He told us that in the last year, Morganton and Burke County had more than 125 stories published about our area in newspapers, magazines, and websites. Ed discussed the agency's strategy for attracting positive media attention, as well as how their marketing campaigns factor into attracting people to our area. Following this, City of Morganton Human Resources Director Russ Shearer gave us an update on the United States Census. The census is starting this month. People should begin receiving invitations in the mail between March 12th and March 20th, inviting them to complete the U.S. Census online or by mail. It is so important that all of us band together and complete the census so we have a complete count of everybody living in Morganton at the time of the count. Now, this doesn't mean taxpayers and citizens only. This information is kept confidential and is never shared with law enforcement or ICE, and it counts everyone living here, so it makes sure we get our fair share of funding in federal dollars and allocation of resources to help improve our area over the course of the next 10 years. The council then discussed upcoming shows and upcoming events at Comma and in downtown Morganton. We have 2 shows coming up at Comma and then 2 events coming up in downtown. The first is our ACC Chili Cook-Off at the Morganton Community House on March 13th. Then the very next day, we have our Luck of the Irish Fab Crawl on March 14th, all day in downtown Morganton. The council then moved on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, there were some budget amendments, approval of old minutes, and more. To find everything that was on the consent agenda, you can visit morgantonnc.gov and visit our council meeting section. They approved the consent agenda as is. The council then held a public hearing about a rezoning request for the property at 400 East Meeting Street. The request was to rezone the property from Central Business Conditional Use to simply Central Business District. After the public hearing, the council voted unanimously to approve the rezoning request. After the public hearing, the council moved on to discuss some other business. This involved awarding an engineering contract to Gannett Fleming for construction engineering inspection, awarding 2 CDBG small business loans, 1 to Dogs Unleashed LLC and 1 to Morganton Lodging Associates LLC, and awarding a contract for geotechnical services. To see more information on all of this, visit morgantonnc.gov and visit our council meetings page. After this, the council moved to go into closed session to discuss the location and expansion of economic development projects as allowed by General Statute 143-318.11A4. No action was taken after the closed session, and with that, the council meeting came to a close. Make sure you join us next time for our next council meeting right here in the Morganton City Council chambers on April 6th at 6 p.m. We'll see you here.